Alright, so I have another example for you to demonstrate few more actions. So here I want to double click. If I try to have one single click, nothing is happening. But when you double click very fast, you will have this pop-up open. You double clicked me and you need to select OK. So this is your requirement. And how do you do that? If you just add two clicks, driver.findElement.click, that won't work. For example, this is first click and this is second click. Nothing is happening. It should be very quick double click. So as I told in my previous lecture that you can use actions here. So let me navigate from here to another site as a continuation to that test. Okay. And then I will get object for this button. Yeah, good. We also have double click as an ID. So let me use that again. So here, as I said, I want to double click that action dot double click, and inside you have to send that specific web element, find element by dot ID of double click, so that this method will does two clicks of whatever locator you provide as an input. And at the end, I told you that you have to use dot perform. Then only that action will be performed. Okay. So what happens after you click? This pop-up will open. Now you need to click on OK. How do you do that? You all know that it's Java or JavaScript pop-up and you don't have any HTML out of it. So for that reason, we have already seen in our previous lectures that if there are any alerts present, then we should say driver dot switch to alert, put dot here. These are the latest APIs. So after you switch to the alert, throw them into one object, and with that object accept that alert whatever you got on the screen. And at the same time, we will try to get the text as well. Alert dot text, and I would put assertion saying assert this whole text, right? Can I copy this? Yes. Awesome. So driver, okay, just need one space. And let's also comment this previous code because this is not required, right? I'll just comment out the code what we have did for handling that. Okay, so I will, sorry, I don't want to write another new test for this. So all good. I will put this actions under driver.get. Perfect. So let's run this test and see how it goes. It should open that specific web page now, and it should double click, and you see that pop-up is open and we immediately closed it because we accepted it. Okay, so that's how you can perform double click as well, and you can do context click as well. Let me show you. I don't know how stable these are. Action chains in Python is heavily unstable. I see so many bugs reported in Selenium forum on this. So limit practice on this for now. If not, just let me know. I will show you what are bugs posted in their forums. But let's see action dot context click. I'll do this before I double click. Let's see what this context click will does for us. You see that? It right clicked. That's what context click means. So if you want to right click on any object, then you have to use this context click. And if you want to double click, we just saw, and alert got opened, and you know how to handle alert by switching into it. Okay, so that's how you can play with actions. And at the same time, I want to show you one more concept, is displayed. I have never discussed that method till now, so let's see that very quick. For that I will go back to our any previous tests. So that's about actions class. I'll close all the browsers. You can use driver.close at the end so that browser will get closed after test execution is done. So rahulshettyacademy.com/ automation practice. Nice. So in this page, basically if I want to hide, this edit box will not display, and if I say show, it's displaying. So how to test whether it is displaying or not displaying? So by default this is displaying, right? So let me spy on that, and we have ID again here, displayed -text. You can write CSS out of it, one element matching. So where did we actually handle that? Here. So let me write this code at the end instead of creating one more new test. Okay. So driver dot find element with an ID dot is displayed. So this method will tell whether that edit box is displayed or not. If it is displayed, it returns true. If it is not displayed, it returns false. Okay, but make sure that this ID should be in HTML only. So this property should be in HTML, but that related web object should not be in HTML. Okay, in that case you can use isDisplayed method. If that property also disappears from here, then isDisplayed will not work, because it's trying to first of all identify this ID in the HTML. If you remove it from here as well, then it will fail. So here when you click on show button, when you click on hide button, we are hiding that edit box, but that property is still showing here, right? So then it will actually see that HTML is there, but related property is not matching, not present on the screen, so that it will return you false. So by default, what happens when you land in this page? It shows off, right? So I will try to print. This should print true. Now I will click on hide button again, and our goal now is to verify that edit box is not displaying. Hide -text box. So driver dot find element by dot ID, and then I will click this. Now if I try to again print this step, this time it should return false. So before clicking it's displayed, but after you clicking on hide, is displayed should return me false. Let's see that. Right click, run UI controls. Okay, you see that first time it returned true, next time it returned false, which is great. But you don't want to do like this. You have to put assertions, right? Your test should fail if something is what you are expecting is true, but if it returns false, your test should obviously fail. So you need not put anything here. This assert of true. Till now we have seen assert if something if 2 equals to 2, something like that, right? That condition is evaluated, and if it returns true, assert of true. So here that condition is this itself. So if this returns true, this assert will pass. But here this will return false, right? Then how would you put assertion? Now for example, if you put assertion here as well, just like how you put for 20 step, what happens? So here we are expecting that this should be false, but this assertion always want to have true to pass the test. So in that case you can add negation by putting not. So that means your value should definitely return false only. So not of false is true. So assert of true again. Okay, so this statement return false and this not of false now will completely return true and assert of true. So your test case will not fail. So let's say after you click on that specific link hide, after you click this, let's say if it is still showing, then this will return true, right? Not of true, false. Assert of false, your test case will fail. Okay, so that's how you need to put assertions. And now let's run this test and make sure it did not fail. This time I'm not printing, but we have strong assertions to fail the test. Alright, so execution is done. It selected checkboxes, radio buttons, and it disappeared. And at the same time, there is no error. Process finished with exit code 0. That means we have successfully validated hidden functionality with the help of isDisplayed method in Selenium, and we have taken help of assertions and negation of assertions to fail or pass the test. Alright, so that's good discussion what we had in this lecture. Let's continue with one more topic. Thank you.